Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Simply Lily podcast. Guess what? I did it. We did it. This is the season finale of season 2 of the Simply Lily podcast. And I am so excited because I actually have to say that I am proud of myself, but I'm also proud of myself with the growth that I've had within the content that has been not only inspiring to me, but that it has also resonated with my audience. And I want to say that I'm very grateful and thank you for everyone who continues to listen. And I've been thinking a lot about where we started this season. And honestly, I don't think that I'm the same person who recorded the first episodes. And I don't think you are either. Not in a dramatic, overnight way, but in the quiet ways. The way you think now, the way you pause a little longer before reacting, the way things just don't sit right with you anymore. And you know what? That's growth. And let me tell you something. I'm owning that because that's where I want to be in my life. That's where I want to have a purpose, and I just don't want to look back at life when I'm 60, which is in a couple months, but I'm going to look back at that milestone and I'm going to say, where was I then and where am I now? And then I'm going to ask that other question, and where am I going? I think that's what makes this season different from me is that I just wasn't talking to you. I was listening to myself too. I was sitting with the same questions, the same reflections, learning in real time right alongside of you. So it's something where I can honestly say that when I do these episodes and the content that I have, it comes from a real place because I know that I'm not the only one going and experiencing certain things midlife that some people just don't talk about. And I'm telling you, I just feel that the last two seasons and the content have been real and the response has been great. And it's like a therapy to me, and I enjoy it. And it's something where I'm going to keep going, and I'm so grateful. But if I had to sum up this season, it would really come back to a few things over and over again. And that would be letting go. Because listen, y'all, you're not going to move forward if you don't let go. And that's just the reality of life. Paying attention. And I think one of the biggest things in order for you to be able to move forward and let things go is that you have to be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, you're just gonna be it's like it's like the doing the same thing over and over again, you know? It's you're just gonna keep going right back to the same thing, and you're not gonna see any results. So, especially with something like spiritual hygiene, I realized how easy it is to carry things without even noticing, because even like in therapy, when you talk to your therapist and you're just sharing things because they're not advising you, you're sharing. It was something where I don't get into the internal spiritual aspect and um, getting to recognize and to understand where I am mentally and what it is that I haven't really dealt with. I know that if I was dealing with things over here with her, my therapist, that that's good because I've seen so much progress within myself. But when I got to get into the spiritual hygiene perspective of it, it all came together. And then my faith and my spirituality, then it came full circle. And that's when everything started making sense. And I realize how easy it is, like I said, to carry things without even noticing. Old conversations, past situations, emotions we never really dealt with. And they just don't disappear. They just sit somewhere in you. And I had to check myself too. Like, what am I still holding on to? What am I replaying in my mind that I shouldn't have released already? And when I really sat down and I thought about it, it's just stuff where I don't know if it's learned behavior that you just learn how to deal with things as you're growing up, but it's something that at one point, which is now, needs to be let go. It needs to be let go because it's time. And that wasn't always comfortable for me to admit, but it was necessary. And I'm so grateful that I've gotten into this new way of thinking and looking at things because unfortunately, I wish I would have known this years ago, but everything's in God's timing. Everything is in God's timing. And I feel that now is my time. And all I could say is, and with myself included, with season two, where are we now? So instead of me telling you where you should be, I want us to just be real for a second. Where are you right now, honestly? And think about it. Where are you mentally? Are your thoughts supporting you or are they just exhausting you? Where are you emotionally? Are you actually feeling things or are you pushing through them? Now, there's a difference. And where are you spiritually? Do you feel connected or just kind of going through the motions? And there's no judgment in any of that because wherever you are, at least now you're aware. Lily is aware because there's been so much clutter and there's been so much fogginess and life has been lifing that at one point you can only take and deal with so much that you have to come to a conclusion of coming to a part in your life where you just have to put everything on the table and say, this is for me, this is not for me. This is for me, this is not for me. Or over that, time to move on. And I think that's really important because some of us are just on some trip where we're just keep reliving the past and just keep like bringing the same stories up and wasting so much time on that that you don't even realize it, that you're actually blocking blessings for you that you don't even know are just there for you. So, with that said, I got some scripture coming. Okay. So, I read Romans 12, verse 2, and this has been sitting with me lately, and it states, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And I kept coming back to that word renewing, not fixing everything overnight or not becoming a completely different person instantly, because that's not the goal here. It's not to change, becoming a different person. It's to be a better person and changing from within, but renewing little by little. And I think that's what this season has been. Not perfection, just renewal. You got to take small shifts, honest moments, and choosing to think differently, even when it's hard. And one thing I can say, the truth that I've learned, if there's one thing I've learned through all this, is that growth is subtle. And that comes from a place of truth within me. It's not always this big of an obvious transformation. Sometimes it's just you not reacting to the way you used to. And I own that one too. Overreacting now at 59, it's just like I don't have time for that. Overreacting for what? Your blood pressure goes up. It just leaves you thinking. And then after you think about it, it's like, why did I even do that? So it's also, I've learned you walking away from something you should have, you wouldn't have stayed in before. And you finally being honest with yourself, even if no one else sees it. And that's what counts. And that matters. And I've had to remind myself of that too, because it's easy to feel that you're not doing enough. Of course, everyone always thinks of the bad things first, or you're not changing fast enough. That was always my problem. Okay, I did this, I did that, and okay, where's the results? It's like I did all that for what? But now, when you take the time and you're honest about things and you're honest with yourself, your results are different. But the question here is if you're thinking differently, if you're questioning things, if you're becoming more aware, you're already not where you used to be because the progression and the transition, it takes time. I mean, we're dealing with a lot mentally, spiritually. We're dealing with a lot that we're talking about years and years of things that within ourself. And it's not a matter where I'm trying to say, hey, you know, you got to fix yourself. But it's just a matter of in order to continue to to be right, we got to get right. And I say that full heartedly, with myself included. So I really do hope that you all enjoy season two and that it resonated and that there was some type of growth because for me, there definitely was growth. So, my question now, and I just want to lead you into what's next for season three, y'all. I'm so excited. I've been like a high schooler or a girl in college that's been doing homework and I got these assignments and I have to be looking things up and I've been a researcher and I've really been putting my foot forward with this. Like what content can I come up with now? How can I follow this up? And you know, what personal experience can I share and have the real talk, real conversation? Because that's my purpose of this. So, moving into season three, which I'm so excited about, I think season two was about awareness. Really seeing yourself clearly, maybe for the first time in certain areas, because sometimes it takes people like myself. Sometimes we have to hear things or see things to take that, put it into perspective, I should say, in your mind and say, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm going through. Or maybe not seeing it once, but maybe seeing it 50 times and then being like, wow, this is hitting home. And it's kind of where I was at that I knew I just had a lot of clutter in my head. I got like a 5-lane highway going on in my mind sometimes. And it's just like, I just go from lane to lane and then I pass and then I go and it's time to slow down. And I know that. I know that because I am also going to make this point really quick that, stress is a very bad thing when you don't handle it and it migrates and you can get sick from it. And that's one of the things that brought me to a lot of realizations, like, I need to stick around for a little bit longer, and I need to make changes, and that's something where we all need to come into account with so that we can better ourselves. And most of it starts in the mind. So let me talk about because awareness is powerful, and it is, but what you do with it, that's what changes your life. So going into season 3, I wanna I want it to feel more intentional, less just realizing and more living differently because of it. That makes sense. Setting boundaries and actually keeping them, choosing peace even when it's uncomfortable, because that's a hard thing to do, believe it or not. Like, we just put ourselves in in positions sometimes where, we want things done, but we just something's a distraction, and then we get off of this journey that we're on, and we derail, and then it's like we're right back where we started from. But we just have to come out and just be a little more intentional. And gotta letting go for real this time. Like, just let things go. You know, we forgive and we don't forget, but forgiving is what makes us move forward, because forgiveness isn't for the other person. Forgiveness is for ourselves. And this is kind of the same concept. And when I say letting go for real this time, not perfectly, but with intentionality. So before we close this season, I just want to leave you with a few things to sit with. And one of them is, what has actually changed in me, even in small ways? These are things I ask myself. Lil, what have you learned about yourself and changed since you started on this new journey? I asked also, what am I still holding on to that I need to release? Because remember, this all takes time. This does not happen overnight or in a month or two, but it's the way we start reformatting our minds and how we start thinking differently. And my last question would be, and what would it look like to move differently starting now? And if anyone has an answer, let me know. Just post it in the comments, or DM me. So if you've been here for this season or my other season, just know I appreciate you more than you probably realize, because this didn't feel like me just talking. It felt like we were figuring things out together. And I'm taking those lessons with me into what's next. And I hope you are too. Season 3 is coming, and I think it's coming in a great way with more knowledge. And I think it's going to meet us in a different place, a little more aware, a little more intentional, and hopefully a little lighter. Thank you all for listening. If this resonates with anyone, go back to the episodes, go back to season 1 and reflect, because I've learned a lot. And I have to say that it has been a blessing to be able to be honest and share my own personal journey. So to everyone, I'll see you in season 3. And guess what? Take your time. It's all going to come together. Until the next episode.